Good morning, everyone. As Samu has already introduced me, my name is Napaai. I'm a personal librarian for the College of Graduate Studies, and I'm also responsible for other subject areas like in the College of Human Sciences, the Information Science, History, and Political Science. I'm here representing my other colleagues who are personal librarians. We work as a team of about 16 of us, and we are each responsible for different colleges and different subject areas. When we go live, I'm going to show you how you can find your own personal librarian who will serve as a link between you and your supervisor, and who you can contact if you want to interact with any of our library resources. This is going to be my overview for this morning. I'm going to speak to you generally about library information, where you can go and request books, and how many books you can request at a time, and also emphasize the importance of going to MyLife email account and go and claim your own password and your MyLife email account. These are two crucial, a password and your MyLife email account, because now the university will only receive the correspondence from your MyLife email account. I'm going to briefly go through the library catalog and show you how you can search for either print or e-books. Also, in our print catalog, we have links to some of our theses and dissertations. But I'm going to show you how you're going to browse through what we call the MyUnisa institutional repository, where you guys, when you finish with your M and Ds, you're going to deposit those theses and dissertations in that space. It's an open source space. Everybody out there will be looking at your work. We'll go and look at that, and then I'll quickly show you how you're going to search for articles using one of our databases called EBSCOhost, and I will briefly show you, if you don't find a full text article, how do you search for an online journal. And I'll just touch base with what we call reference management tool. There's a guide that we as a librarians, we've compiled, where you're going to go and build your own bibliographic database that will allow you to work online with your resources. Okay. As far as general library information is concerned, all the M&D students can borrow about 16 books at a time. If you are a South African resident, you can keep those books for 42 days, and those who are outside South Africa, they can keep them for 3 months. Outside South African borders, we have students from Zimbabwe, Botswana, Ethiopia, and all the other regions outside the borders. But should you get a notice from the library, let's say you've borrowed your 16 books, and then all of a sudden you get a notification from the library to say, please return this book, you have to do as you are told. The library will issue that notice, and then it will expect you to return that book within 7 working days. If you don't return the book, you will have a fine on your portfolio on that particular book that you want to return. Should it happen that you're still currently busy with that book, please go to the library's catalog. I'll show you where you can go when we do the live demo after this presentation, where you have your My Library portfolio and where the list of books that you've requested from us will appear. You will have to go and renew it. In the meantime, if the system allows you to do that, then you can renew the book. But if there's a hold on a book, it means if a book says there's a hold on it, somebody else is waiting for that particular book. Remember, UNISA has got students all over the world. It might happen that it's one of your colleague that wants to use that book, and then the library will recall the book. If it's on hold, it won't allow you to renew it online. But I'll show you that when we go live. And usually, all our requests are done online. And if you want to make a follow-up on your request status, this is the library email that you can use. You can just go and check whether, you send an email just to find out how far your request is. This is a generic email address. It goes directly to book request, where colleagues who work with these things will be able to look at your query, and then they will tell you whether the book is already been dispatched, whether it's in process, or whether it's already been sent to the address of your choice. And another thing about requesting, when you request a book from us, a print book, when you click on that request button, the system will first ask who you are, because you have to use your MyLife email, your password, whenever you interact with us. So there's a box where you have to instruct the library where you want the book sent to. In some instances, students will not complete that. Then UNISA library will actually send the book according to your record that we get from registration. If you give us a postal address, or if you give us a house address, your book will be sent there. But on the library's homepage, again, I'll show you when we get there, there's a branch locator. With so many students based everywhere, UNISA has different branches in the country. We even have one in Ethiopia. So if you prefer that the books that you are requesting be sent to a branch, you can just complete that instruction box and tell us that you prefer that these requested books should be sent to either Ekurhuleni, whether in Durban, or in one of our branches, whether it's Polokwane or in Cape Town, or even in East London. So you tell us that you want these books to be sent there. So the library will do likewise. If you request books from us, it's free of charge when we send them to you. But if you send them back to us, you have to pay for that. What is crucial here is to know whether there's a branch within your vicinity where you're staying in the province that you stay in, so that you can drop them back there. If you send them to one of our branches, you won't pay a cent. But should you put it in a courier or in a postal office and send them through, then the cost is on your side. Renewal is the same. Like I said, on your My Library portal, where you have your portfolio with the list of books that you have requested, you can easily renew some of the books that you're still busy with. And you can just go to the catalog and renew them. You log in with your MyLife email account, password, and then you just tick the ones that you want to renew. We also have, under general information, besides the books, we subscribe to a lot of databases, which I'll show you when we go live, of journals. And these are free for you to download. You can download as many articles as you wish to. And but when you do that, just make sure that you you put them in a space where you are able to reference them properly, which we'll do in our next session, where we do the reference management tools, using different bibliographic management tool citing, like your Harvard, your APA, your MLA, depending on what your citation, bibliographic citation tool says. This is a free service to all our registered students, but in the library, especially for students who are doing, let's say, excuse me, students who are registered for history or some of the historical stuff, the library still accept a request for journal articles, the ones that are not available online. What we would kindly want you to do when you send requests for journal articles, I'll show you a button, especially if it's something that is not available anywhere online. We still have a lot of journals which are available in print. I know some of the history students, they go far back, but the library has also bought what we call the archives. So you are unlikely to come across a source that is not available online, unless maybe you are in anthropology, you want to look at things that go far back from the 30s or the 40s. So UNISA has a huge collection of print journals, and our book request section will go and make a print out for you and send it to you or email it to your MyLife email address. In the library, we have a team of personal librarians, which I represent. There's 17 of us. We are your main contact with the library in Pretoria. We are based only in Pretoria at the main library. We are responsible for all the postgraduate students from honors level to PhD level. We assist you with all your research needs. If you are about to write your literature review, or maybe you are now on your thesis phase, we can assist you, we can train you, we can do a one-on-one with you and show you through how you can use all our library resources. We are your main contact. Besides you and your supervisor, the personal librarians serve as a link between you, your supervisor, and all your other research needs that you request or you require from us. There's another unit in the library. It's a group of professional librarians as well, like us, but those librarians are there to compile literature list on your specific topic. We also do compile literature list per request, but you can also use the search librarians, because they are working across colleges. Their turnaround time might be a challenge, especially if you want to submit quickly. So you rather contact your personal librarian for help. I spoke about the MyUnisa. The MyUnisa portal, it's actually not libraries. It's not the same as the library. Any student that registered with UNISA will have to have a profile on MyUnisa. The password that you create when you go and claim your MyLife email account, it's actually key. It's your key to the library's online resources. Without that password, you won't have access to any of our material. You use your MyLife, your MyUnisa password to request our book, to open some of our online articles, to look at our own thesis, to look at the international databases that we subscribe to. And you can also access, some of the colleges do have their doctoral and master's sites. You can use your password, your MyUnisa password, to access that. And since last year, with the COVID situation, There was an email that was sent to all the UNISA community, I'm sure to all the students, that please make your My Life email My Life email to communicate with us, with any of our communication, any official communication that you do with the UNISA community should be from My Life email account. Why? Because students are complaining. There were lots and lots of complaints. Students were using their own private accounts, their Gmail accounts, their Yahoo accounts, their other accounts, private accounts, and our server, in most instances, will just quarantine those emails and send them to junk. So most of the academics did not see those emails, and students started complaining. So if you use an official UNISA email account that is given to you, use your My Life email account so that when you communicate with us, we are able to respond. Because if you don't, you use your private email account, it goes into trash. And in most cases, it takes a week for one to realize you've been sending emails, but they are sitting either in my junk email or they went into my quarantine, which comes in another day. And in most cases, we just delete what is quarantined because we think these are spam emails. They are not supposed to come to us. So make sure you use your My Life email account when you correspond with any person at UNISA, whether it's your supervisor, whether it's your librarian, whether it's anything to do with registration. Make sure that you stick to your given email account. And why UNISA gave you this email account, they've created a space for you so that you have this email account. And I know some of you who are newly registered, maybe you haven't done it before. This is the first thing that you have to do once your registration is approved. You go and claim the email account, and then you create your own password. You've got a space. Remember, the UNISA subscribe to a lot of things, so you can either save everything that we're going to work on this morning on the library on that email, because a lot of correspondence from the university is sent directly to this email account, and students don't look at this account. They start complaining. In the meantime, departments have posted stuff on this email account because this is the official communication. So down the line, round about June, you go and check on this email. You find that your supervisor has been sending relevant material to this email account. You haven't actually. So make it a habit that you use this account and you keep on checking what's coming in. Right. This is the window of the university. So I'm sure most of you know about it. And this is your landing page. It's just unisaAC.za. This is the window of the university. It's got all kinds of links. If you want to go for your MyUnisa, you go here. You go MyUnisa and you claim those credentials, the password and the email account that I've been talking to. But if you want to come to the library, I know via MyUnisa, there's a link to the library, but I want you to make it a habit that you use this window to go to the library page. So up there you can see there's the library link. You just click on it. It takes you directly to the library's homepage. So this is my space. This is the library's homepage. This is going to be your space during the period of your registration. On this page, there's lots and lots of information. So what we've done as personal librarians, 3-5 years ago, we created what we call library guides. We just created these guides according to the subject areas that are taught at the university. So we thought this page is too cluttered. Everything is on this page, and there's a lot of confusion. We work with these things so we know how to navigate this. But then we decided we might as well create what we call a library guide. And I'm sure all of you in this training session, you have a guide. If you haven't met your librarian, If you don't know who she or he is, you go to the library guide on this link here. It will open an alphabetical list of all the subject areas. You just go to your own subject area. If you are registered for history, you'll go under H and you'll find a guide for you. If it's psychology, you go under P. If it's sociology, all the subjects will be there. The same as on this guide, we have what we call a branch locator. This is what I spoke about when I said you can prefer to have your books packaged and sent to a branch of your choice wherever you can go and collect. When you click on that link, this branch locator, it will give you a list of all the branches that are available, that UNISA has in different provinces. And unfortunately for now, the Florida branch, which is in Florida, it's under renovation. You can't go there. In Johannesburg, they are moving to another building, so they are also not available. So people from Joburg, that other area, you can either use Ekurhuleni branch or you can use the SBL, our School of Business Leadership, which is down in Midrand. But the branch locator will actually indicate, give you a list of all the branches that you have. When you go and request books, if you stay within a branch, then you can just say to the library people, you prefer that your books be sent to this branch. And in the middle, in the first column here, these are all our library services. Should it happen that you want to request a literature list from the search librarians, you can click on that link, but just take note that they service the entire university community. They are not like us who are assigned to specific subject areas. You can use them if you prefer, but I think your first port of call will be your own personal librarian. But there's a link there where you can go and request the literature list. If you don't mind waiting, then it will be done and sent to you. And under that research support, you can go and see who's my librarian, a personal librarian, divided according to colleges, but as well as you can look at them under your library guides. Okay, I'll just click on the library guide, and this is the list. This is how it looks like. It's alphabetical, and some of the guides are actually generic guides on how to, we're trying to compile things on how to help you with certain issues. But in this instance, I'm going to just demonstrate the information science one, which I'm responsible for. You just click on the title, information science, and it lands you on this page. They are all the same, whether it's history, psychology, sociology, religion or theology or any other subject area or business management. The feel and look is the same. They are all designed in the same fashion. What is important here is that we've duplicated the library's homepage. If you come to your library guide, you're not missing anything that is on the previous page, which is the library's main website. We've duplicated all the library links here. You can go back to the library's homepage. You can just search the catalog from this page. And you can go to our UNISA institutional repository on this page where we keep all our thesis and some of the university's research output. So we've duplicated the links from the previous page, but what is nice here is also you have your librarian on the first page of your guide. So if you haven't met your personal librarian, you go to your own guide, you will see most of them have their own pictures and they have their email addresses where you can just drop them an email. You can even phone them. Most of us are working from home. We do take turns to go on campus, but we basically, 90% of our time we're working from home. So if you send them an email, they'll be able to respond. You can even call them because we are now on MS Teams. Our phones are actually linked to our laptops. You can either search, you can click on these tabs. Any of these tabs will have relevant information as far as your subject area is concerned. If I go under books, I can click on the link books. It will give me all the databases that I want to search under ebooks. So we all have listed ebook databases, thinking because of COVID, you will be able to get ebooks instead of requesting books from the library, which takes a while. Remember, we were on lockdown since March last year, and we only managed to go back to work, I think it was July, August, and the backlog of print request books was overwhelming. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to encourage all of you to familiarize yourself with searching the library catalog. I know you cannot use only ebooks. You have to use print books. While you're waiting for your request for print books, you might as well go and check in any of these databases. If you are a student in information science, there are ebook packages. The list is long. So I've just captured a few that you can use. You can click in any of these, do your topic, and come up with ebooks that you can use in the meantime while waiting for your print books from the main library. You can also search the catalog under print books here on this tab. So this allows you to search for packages of ebooks and also for print books that we have available in the library. You can also request your books by using this link here. So you have a picture of the library, which we've just unbundled and put it on a guide and just dissected some parts from the main libraries page and put it in different categories so that it helps you. So what I would encourage you all is to go to your own library guide. You will find everything there. Okay, so this is the library's homepage. This is the My Library that I was talking about. We'll sort of, I'll demonstrate it when we go in our second part of demonstration. I'll show you how you're going to open this link here, the My Library, which will allow you to do the renewals, but you first have to log in with your your MyUnisa password and your student number to get to your portfolio. Then you can see how many books are issued under your name. Then that's where you're going to start renewing them. That's why I say you can renew only online. And if should it happen that you work on a topic which is historical and you've been looking for an article which is nowhere under all our databases, you can come here and do an article request. But just take note that we need all the details. You tell us the title of the author, the article, the source, which is your journal title, the year, the volume, and the issue number, so that it makes it easier for us to locate the article which is not available anywhere online. But I can assure you, we have more than 400 databases, so you might not end up with an article that is not available anywhere online, because we've even bought some archives of some of the databases that we have. But should it happen that you have that kind of a source, you can come here and do your article request. It will give you a form where you have to populate all the required, your author, your title of a journal, volume and issue number. Right, and the library catalog actually has a you can search anything in our catalog. You can use an ISSBN number if you have or you can use a shelf number. What is nice here, you can even do a keyword search on any topic and just bring all the books that you want under that specific topic. Okay, so what's happening? Somebody press the share thing. Can you see? Samu, can you still see my presentation?
Yes, we can still see.
Okay, So I was just saying, on the library's homepage, when you click on that search, the library catalog, you come here and you have all kinds of search options. The default here is it's by title. When you open the library's catalog, it gives you, we assume you know the title of the book that you're looking for. So that is why this is sitting on title. But if you don't, you have bits of a, you remember words of a title of a book that you need, and you know the author's name, but you can't remember the initial. You just use this author and article combination. Then the system will be able to dissect, to say if it's Smith, and Smith is writing on mental health, but you can't remember the rest of the title. You just do this author title combination. But if you have this broad topic, the broad topic that you want to research, you can go here under advanced or simple keyword search. And for instance, you can just go and say, I'm looking for research methodology books in this particular subject area. You can say in psychology or in information science or in social work. You just put it as broad as it, but you change this drop down arrow into a keyword search. Or if you have an author and you have an initial, you can also do the same. Right, I've just done a keyword search. We are going to go into the system. Don't feel overwhelmed. I've just used the drop-down menu and changed that to keyword search. Here, I'm just looking at research methods in information science. I'm a librarian. I've studied information science, or I've registered with information science. I'm doing my master's. I want to look at books on research methodology. It's a keyword search. It's very broad, and some of the words will appear in the title of your book, and sometimes it appears in the subject area or somewhere in an abstract. It's a broad search. And if you see here, it says I'm searching the entire collection. What does that mean? It means I'm searching even books that are sitting in some of our branches. You'll see when we go live, I'll show you that you can search for a book, and then you can see it's available at the main library or at Ekurhuleni or somewhere in East London or in Sunnyside. If you click on the title, it gives you all the options where you can see where this book is sitting. So we'll go there. So I'm looking at the entire collection. So I'm searching all the UNISA books lying everywhere in the country and even in Ethiopia. So I have more than 1,000 titles on books, on the keywords, research methods, and information science. I cannot go through such a huge list. And you can see here, it's a combination of ebooks. You'll see ebooks by this icon here. It's a combination of ebooks and some print books that are available in the library. So this is a 2020 copy, which probably came last year, and it's only one copy. If it's more than one copy, you'll see several indication that this particular title has several books. So in this case, it's a mixture of ebooks. In some instances, you have also M&D. This is also listed on this list. So I've just captured the main parts, the first parts. And what you do when you do this kind of a search, the system usually gives you, it tells you your most relevant hit. It's from 1 to 4. So I know these top 4 will answer this question. So I can easily go through them. But because I want to see more than 1,000, I cannot do that here. So let's say I'm somewhere in KZN or in Polokwane. I don't have time to go and check at the Polokwane branch or even request the book which is sitting in somewhere in Pretoria. What I do in my next slide, I just say under this view, I use this drop-down menu and say, on this topic, just give me only ebooks. Before I actually even ask for ebooks, I just want to show you that if you want to look at the entire bibliographic title of a book, you have to click on the title of that book so that you can have a sense where this book is available. If you are in Pretoria or if you are interested exactly in this title, you can just You click on the title, it opens the whole bibliographic detail of the book. I couldn't capture the bottom part. It gives you the summary of a book. It tells you what this book is all about and what it covers. It even sometimes gives you a table of content of that particular book. So you can just engage with the book, look at the summary and look at its table of contents, and then decide there and there, is this the kind of book that is going to help me with my research methodology, assignment, or whatever I'm doing? Then you decide. And here it lists all the other branches, but if you want to look at more branches, so I have about four that are not from the main library in Pretoria. You have extra, you can view for additional copies which are sitting somewhere else besides the ones listed here. So you can see this particular book title, the main library has most of them. And then the key here, before you even request a book, please look at the status of a book. You can see that it's available in Durban and in Cape Town, and there are few copies available at the main library in Pretoria. Before you even jump to request, look at the status of a book, because in most instances, students get excited to see that this title is available. You go and request it, not knowing that this book is already issued out. So anything with a due date, it's already sent to somebody else. But you can look at the status, make sure that the status says available before you jump to request. Fine. And when you click on that request button, when we go live, you'll see what happens. That's where the system is going to ask you if you have any instructions. Are you able to tell us whether you want this in Durban, you want this in Sunnyside, or you want this in Polokwane, you want this in Cape Town? So you just put that instruction. If you don't, then we send it to your address that we have on the system. I've just changed this keyword search that I was looking at under that drop-down menu from view the entire collections to ebooks. And I think this is key in the environment that we currently have. And this will allow you to start working while maybe, I know there are seminal titles that you guys need to definitely look at, and most of those are probably print. So while you're still waiting for your print documents to be sent to you, you can change this to ebooks. And then now you have more than 786 titles that are linked to research methodologies in as far as information science is concerned. You can search for any topic. You can say research methodologies in social work, for instance, or in sociology. And then you get a sense of the broader picture using a keyword of books that are available everywhere, from searching from the view the entire collection, or you can limit your list into only ebooks. Then the system gives you just a list of online books that you can look at. And remember here, the ebooks, it's a different story altogether. You can't just go and directly go to the website and start downloading the entire book. There are rules here. You are only entitled to 10% according to copyright rules, but in some publishers will allow you to register a free account with them. If you land on a publisher's homepage, there's a link where you can create your own credentials. You open an account with them. It allows you to store those ebooks on that specific, you create sort of like your personalized database on ebooks on their system. And every time you click on it, it opens the entire book. And in some instances, they even allow you to download the entire book, but it's that download, it's not permanent. So you have to be registered with them. They allow you to download it maybe for a day or two. In 2 or 3 days, then it disappears, because publishers will go bankrupt if they just put these books, the entire book, online. No one is buying them. We pay a license to have access to the entire book. What you can do is to just go and copy some of the relevant chapters in those books. And there's no way you can use the entire book. You would obviously need to use chapter 2 or chapter 3 or chapter 4. That is allowed, but you can't just download the entire book. And what is key also here, you can't just quickly go to a website. You know, we work with data, which is key. You first have to open the title of a book that you are interested in and just look at the summary of that book. And in most cases, they all come with different chapters listed under that. So when you click on the book of your choice, this is the screen that you see. It gives you the whole bibliographic record of the book. And then it tells you this is an electronic book. We know that. And this is the link that you have to connect to when you go to this publisher. And what happens here, these are the contents of this book. So if you interrogate the contents of the book and you look at the summary of the book, you can read more by clicking here to get the entire picture of what this book is all about before you even go to directly to the website, you know, to save you costs. So you just open the book, you look at the, excuse me, you look at the contents page, you see, okay, there are 3 chapters that I can go and download from this book. And then once you are satisfied that this is the book that I need, you just click on this link here. And it tells you this access is only restricted to UNISA staff and students. So if you are not, your registration is not complete, you won't be able to go through. What happens when you do that is that it brings this login, which is key. So this is where excuse me, this is where your MyUnisa password happens with all of these things, whether it's ebooks, whether you want to request, you'll always get this page where we want your authentication. We want to know whether you are a legit UNISA student. And if you forgot your password, you can just go click here, and then the system will you go back to MyUnisa, and then you go and renew your password or you change your password. So here it's your student number, it's your username, and the password that you use here, it's that MyUnisa password, and then you just click on login. So now you log in, it allows you to go to the publisher's page. Remember, we only keep print in our collection, but we have links to ebooks that we subscribe to. So that link pushes you to this IGI Global publisher. These guys publish a lot of information science ebooks. So this is where your book is, the whole bibliographic detail. I've just captured the entire chapters of this book. This is their table of contents. And then you can go here. You can go here because you've already read from the library's catalog. You've looked at the contents, you've read the summary, then it's your choice from here on. And everything that's got a lock and it's a green key that is opened, then you know that UNISA has access. So you click on the chapter of your choice that you need, and then it gives you the full chapter as it is. So because you don't want to read this online, you might as well go and look at the full PDF, view the full PDF document, which will give you the next page where you have a 17-page chapter. And remember here, if you start using the chapters within a book, make sure that you cite it properly. Don't go and put it aside and forget that it comes from a book. It's not. It's part of a book. Cite it properly. In your citation, you have to say, this is a chapter which I pick up from this book. So you can just go and download this particular chapter if you so wish, or you can use this arrow here to download the chapter. I told you that there's a registration requirement. So I'm a librarian, I can log in, I've already registered for some of these things, and then I just log in with when you create your registration in some of these ebook packages, even with the journal databases, you can use any other password, but you can first, you have to use your student number. as your username, or your MyLife email address as your username. You can use any other password with these publishers. You don't have to stick to the MyLife one, so long as they recognize you as a UNISA student. Okay. So this was about the books, either print or ebooks from our library catalog, which are linked to publishers' ebooks. Besides the ebooks that you can look at on our catalog, we come to the second phase of our training, which are thesis and dissertations. And most of you who are newly registered, you will probably want to know, how does it look like, how am I going to write my literature review? The contents page of a thesis, the problem statement, your research, your research methodology. How is it done? So what UNISA has, we have our own completed thesis and dissertations, which we house in what we called our UNISA institutional repository. And then we also subscribe to international thesis and dissertation databases where you can go and search under your topic. The UNISA institutional repository goes far back as 2003, but we sort of started a project previously, but because of COVID, I think it has since stalled that we should go beyond 2003 to digitize all our theses that are produced at UNISA. So you guys, once your M is completed, once your PhD is completed, it has to be housed in our institutional repository. And before 2003, most of our theses are still available via the catalog. Should you be researching a topic that goes far back, you can search for some of our theses. They are still on the catalog. But sooner or later, with an online environment, not making us to make a choice, we still have we have to put all of them online. On your library's page, this is where you're going to find your UNISA institutional repository. This is the link. UNISA institutional repository. It's also available on your guide. Remember, on the guide, we've duplicated some of the links from the library's homepage. You can also link it. You can click on it from there. So when you click on this link, it takes you to the UNISA community. So this is the entire UNISA community. This is all all our research output as a university, and everything is documented here, and it's according to communities. Our communities are our colleges. If you belong to law, you'll go to law. If you are in education, you'll go to your own college to see what is their research output. When you go there, you will find a thesis and dissertation produced by that particular college, and some of the research output from the department as such. So I'm using the College of Human Sciences. I'm going to click on the College of Human Sciences, and I get to this list. Each college has different schools, and I'm sure by now you all know where you belong. You know your college, you should know your school. The College of Human Sciences has about 5 schools, so you should know where you fit in. In my case, information science belongs to the School of Art, and I know in some universities, information science is part of the social sciences, but at UNISA, we are under the School of Art. So you click there, and then it takes you to all the different departments. So it's your college, it's your school, and it's your department. So once you are here, you can either browse. In the previous page, I show you, you can browse according to dates. If you want to browse the thesis that we submitted last year, you can go and browse under that. If you know someone who's done a PhD at UNISA and you want to look at their work, you can browse according to authors. If you know the title, or the advisor will be the supervisor. Let's say you have a choice, you know, you want to register at UNISA and you want to be supervised by so and so. So you can just go to that particular department and just say, I just want to see Professor Smith, how many students he or she has supervised. I also want him to supervise me. You can browse according to the supervisor and see the kind of students that have gone under him or her. And if you're happy, then you know, I'm registering at this department and I want to be supervised by so and so. Or if you are already registered and you want to see the work of your supervisor, how many students is he supervising, and how is their style of writing, because obviously with a supervisor, they would have been coached to put things in a certain manner. So this is where you come. So when you arrive at the departmental level, you just click on the department of your choice. Here it's Department of Information Science, which is my department. And when you get to this page, it gives you the collection within this department's community. So this is their research output as a department, and these are their thesis and dissertations. It's a mixture of the M's and the D's, but you can also browse according to type. You can just say, I only want to look at the M's, or I want to look at the PhDs. So you go and look under the types, and or else you can, go under the supervisor. And what is key here, the system only lists the recent submissions. These are the recent submissions, and in some instances it will be mixed with either M and Ds, and even the articles that the department has produced. So because you want to look at the thesis and dissertations produced by this department, you just click on that thesis and dissertation link, and it takes you to this page. It lists the most recent submissions first. So you can see it gives you the title of the thesis, and it tells you this is the person that has submitted the thesis, this is the author of the thesis, and it was passed probably in September, and it was submitted last year in January. And then this is sort of like a synopsis of what this whole thesis is all about. If you are interested in any of these titles, you just have to click on the titles, like with books on the list, you click on the title and it gives you the entire bibliographic details of the thesis. So this is the thesis, this is the abstract, before you even open the entire thing. Remember, all of these are in PDF format because these are our digitized work. So you have to scroll down and just come to view or open to look at this thesis. And this is the whole thesis. And I know the first 3 pages is your dedication, the title of the thesis, who the supervisor and the co-supervisor is, and your name as well, your dedication and your acknowledgements. So most cases, students don't want to look at those things. I've just copied, captured the table of contents, because that's where most of you would want to look at, how should I structure my one? There's the introduction, the problem statement, how other students are coining this, and this is a PhD, this is a psychology PhD, so it depends on the subject areas. So you go to your own department and look at your own department, or maybe this is it's an information science thesis. The co-supervisor and the main supervisor was one of the professors, or it depends on the subject area. So the table of contents in most instances, it's tailor-made, almost the same. You have the definition, your conceptual framework, how is it coined, my problem statement, the research methodology part, your literature review, which is chapter 2. So you just go and see this particular professor, these are the style of students, these are the numbers of students he has, and this is how they do things. So, and unfortunately, you can download this entire thesis. It's freely available. It's an open source domain. If you go and look at this, it will appear also or under any of our open source domain, but there's no way you want to download the entire. So you can just use parts of this, and there's no way you can also copy and paste into your own work. You can just use this as a reference, and you know how to find it. So you can always come back and you can look at the entire thing. It doesn't matter. So this is your table of contents, and I know most of you will be interested to go to the methodology part, and also to the literature review part, and just see and copy how other students are doing it. On your library's homepage, remember, under thesis and dissertations, we looked at books, which you can do on this page, and then we now on thesis and dissertations. On each guide, you are going to see that we've put all the South African thesis databases. Mostly these are South African theses from different universities, but most of the universities now have their own institutional repository. If you want to look at a thesis from TAX, you can go, you can go to the TAX website and look at it there, because they have their own UIR like us. So everybody has gone into this open domain. But what I want to bring your attention to here, it's this one, the ProQuest Thesis and Dissertation. It's a global database, and it lists all the South African material. You'll find theses from across universities in this country. Even the UNISA theses are actually also harvested by this particular database. So if you have a topic and you want to look at its international standing, and you want to see if other people have done this work before, and if they've done it, from which angle are they approaching this topic. So this is your choice there. You can use all the other ones, but we normally advise our students to start here, because this is bigger than all the other ones. So you can go to your ProQuest Dissertation and Thesis Global, and this is the landing page. And when you get here, you can do anything. It lands on a simple search, but you can go to an advanced search and start putting your keywords in. And if you're searching phrase, remember when you use these international databases, you have to search phrases, because you don't want information there, resource there, management there. You want them next to one another. So you use it in code. So here I've just given an example of information resource management. As my, I'm a librarian, I want to see whether there are any other material theses that are done on this information resource management as far as library science is concerned, but I didn't put library science. And what I've done also, I've limited this kind of search. I said to the system, I'm actually looking from 2015 to 2022. It gives to 2022 because some universities are far ahead than us. And what happens on this page, it will give you will have a preview of a PDF of that particular thesis, meaning it will give you sort of like a brief summary of this whole thing, what this whole thing is about. Or you can just go to full text and just read it there online. So this is what I've actually done. I've just clicked on that PDF. It's 219 pages. Of course, it's a thesis. And what is nice with this database, it says you are looking at effects of massage of student stress. This is a psychology PhD, and then it gives you related items as well. So it sort of like it leads you to more if you are in this space. So all of these will give you that. It will give you what you've searched for, and then it will say to you, but you can also look at the following. So if you are in this space, you can also look at this. So here I've also captured the table of contents, all the theoretical frameworks, the research questions, how are they done? You can just go and have a look. And you can download the entire thesis, but I don't think it's of your interest. You can just browse and probably download the chapters that you think will be able to assist you in your research. Or you can just go and view the entire PDF, and then it brings the whole thing in one space. So now, critically, journal articles. How do you search for your topics from articles? Be it the kind of topic that you registered for, or for research methodology stuff. But because research methodology, it's within the books, or it's in articles, it's in book reviews. So if you click on your library guide homepage, remember I said to you, use your library guide as your Bible. So we've moved from books, we went to thesis and dissertation. Now we're looking at articles from your guide. If you click on that tab, it will bring you a list of databases in the middle of the page. It's a long list, and not all of them are captured here. So instead of you looking at the e-resource list, so we've just captured a few. So these are the core ones for this particular subject area. So these are the core databases, and in each and every subject that you are registered for, when you click on that article or article search tab, it will give you something like this. In the middle of the page, you've got subject databases. We'll delve into it when we go live to look at the whole thing. So under Academic Search Premier, it's just the name of a database, and then it has a summary of what this whole database covers. So this is meant for information science students. So in most subject areas, we've listed some of the e-journals that you can just go and browse, but this is a tedious process because you have to go to the publisher's page and see this particular journal. It's looking at information in technology. If you are interested in technology, if you are a library science student and you want to look at the information in technology, you can browse in any of this. So we've listed the databases, and once you get used to these listings, you realize that some of the databases are actually hosted by one publisher. Like I'm just going to show you. If you click to that, click on that Academic Search Premier, you get to a search prompt. I'm sorry because I'm capturing this thing, but you'll see it properly when we go live. You land up on the EBSCOhost database, and the first thing you have to do when you go there, because you just click on one, you just say, I want to choose, databases. You want more. You cannot search only this one. So most of these databases have a choice, but EBSCO is hosting a list of databases. So if you are in economics, for instance, you'll go for Econolit. If you are in psychology, these are all your psych databases that you must choose. If you are in history, so the list goes down. You've got historical abstracts, you've got your humanities and your human science sources. If you are in education, you have your ERIC, you have your education source. The list is on and on. So these are the databases that you must choose. You cannot search within one database. It allows you to search across all databases. So that's why I'm indicating that you can scroll down and select what subject suits you. You can select any of these databases, and when you hover in, when we go live, I'll show you. If you look at this yellow little bar at the end, that's where you're going to find out what is the coverage in this database. What is this database actually indexing? What are their topics? Then it allows you to make an informed choice. So once you've chosen your selected database here, because I'm in the library and I'm a library information science librarian, I've just selected the 4. It's Academic Search Ultimate, it's library, and these are the core databases for library and information science students. And at the bottom, there's what we call social science index, which I've also selected. And then I just say, okay, I'm happy with what I've had. So it opens on the, all of them will open on the sort of an advanced search prompt, and that select a field. It's actually your keyword. And what I want to demonstrate here, we'll go live and then I'll show you more. It's I'm looking for information resource management articles. I'm working on this space, so I want to see, you know, how the resources, the information resources are managed in a specific space. So I start with a keyword search. It's a phrase search. I put it in quotes and I leave it like this. When you start with a search, don't limit unnecessarily. You limit once you see this is the scope, and then you start honing it down later on. So this is a broad search, and I come to realize that it gave me more than 4,000 articles, and I can't go through this entire list. It's too big. And what I've done before I actually even press the search button, I've actually said I'm looking for 2015, the date. These are my limiters. I've limited according to date, and what is key, you have to say to the system, you are only interested in scholarly peer review journals. You don't want any other noisy stuff. You don't want magazines in your searching. You don't want newspaper clippings in your searching. You are only interested in scholarly peer review. You limit according to your scholarly peer review. You give it a tick, and then you say, if you're worried about the scope of your research, if you're looking for recent material, you can just put dates there, 2015, or you can even say from 2010 or to this date, and then you search. So this is what it gave me. And usually the results, they come 20 per page, but you have this page options where you can change and tell the system, no, let me browse rather on the first page, I want 50, because it's ranking them according to relevancy. Most databases are ranked according to relevancy. The higher your articles are, the more relevant they are. So this is my keyword search, which is very huge. On my next slide, I'm going to limit the search and then start making my selection. So here, these are all my limiters, my scholarly peer, my dates, and I've added another, what we call in library terms, a Boolean operator. I've said I'm looking for information resource management applicable to academic libraries, because I'm in an academic library space. So, and I still use this as a keyword because I didn't want to limit that much. So otherwise, if you start saying, I want these terms in the title of my search or in the subject field of my search by using these drop-down menus, you might end up with limited hits. So I've kept it as a keyword search, and I can see, because it's ranked according to relevancy, I can go through the first 20 and see, or the first 50 and see what I can pick up from here. So what is important here, you're not going to go now and download PDF one by one. It doesn't work. It's time consuming. What the system allows you to do, you can make your selection, you can look at this title, and if it's something that speaks to your research, you look at the subject area that this particular article covers, and maybe if I'm happy with this and it's a full text PDF article, and this is the sort of a summary of what this whole article is about. But if you hover your cursor here on this hour class, it will give you the entire abstract. So before you even start selecting these articles, go to the entire abstract, because this is a sort of, it's a hint on what this article is all about. This will give you this hour class, I'll show you when we go live, will give you the entire abstract. Then you can read the abstract, and as soon as you determine that this is what you are working on, this is the space that I'm in, this article will be helpful, you just click on this plus sign. By so doing, you are now starting to select what you need from this whole list. So if you click on this plus sign, at the top of your screen, you'll see when we go live, there's what we call a folder. So all of these articles that you are selecting by clicking on the plus sign will go into your folder. That is why this one has been, I've clicked on it. So it opens like an envelope, meaning now it has something inside. So you browse, you scroll down, you browse, and most of these articles, 99.9% of them will give you a PDF. If EBSCO does not provide a PDF, you will have a link that says view this on this other database. It will refer you to some of the databases that we subscribe to, where you'll find a full text article. So let's say you're happy with whatever you've put in your folder. You can click here on the folder view. That's my next slide, and then it opens my folder view. So this is your folder view. You just click on your folder view. It now brings up everything that you've selected from this list, which will be, I've selected only 2 just for this demonstration purpose. And what it allows you to do, it says to you, you can either export this. If you want to export this, you can either send it to your Mendeley account, or you can send it to your, whether it's RefWorks, if you are registered with any of those management tools for citations, or you can save it on your flash drive, or you can just email the rest of these articles to yourself. So in this instance, I wanted to email the 2 to myself, and then it gives me the page like this. Here, everything will come with a PDF. If I don't want the PDF or just the link, because if you have, let's say, 50 PDFs, they'll come one by one. But if you want to get links and still get a PDF, when you click on the link, you can just, deactivate this PDF. But I know some students think if you deactivate this, you won't get the PDF. The link still works fine. And what I want to bring to your attention here, this email does not come from you. Just leave this part on its own. This comes from EBSCO. It comes from these people, the host. So don't change this and say this comes from me, Napaai, to myself. You leave this one. You put your MyLife email account here. You give this so that you remember when the email lands on your email. What is this all about? You just say articles on information resource management, or you can just say articles, then you'll know where it comes, and then you send. And then the email will come back to confirm that this email has been sent. Okay, so what happens now when you go through these searches and you realize I've got this source and it's not available, it doesn't give me a PDF. There's a way to go about this. In some instances, when we go live, the system will actually give you a link to other databases. But if there is no link to other databases, you come to it's called Find eJournals or eBooks. But on your guide, also at the bottom of that subject database, remember we were searching for articles from any of these subject databases. We started with Academic Premier, and we realized when we went to the Academic Premier, we have this one and this one also hosted by EBSCO when you choose more. So as soon as you start using this, you'll realize that some of these are hosted by one publisher. Then you can combine them and search across the databases. But at the bottom of your list, we have what we call Find eJournals. This is within your guide. So you can plug a journal title from the source that you have. So this will tell you if this particular title of a journal is available somewhere else as a full text journal articles. You can get PDFs from this particular. So you just plug your title here, and then you search. It actually jumps to this. This is a portal. UNISA subscribe to this portal. It indicates to you if a journal title is available online or not. If, for instance, you have a citation that has an old journal and you don't know how to search, you come to this portal, You search the title here, you put the title and then you search for it. If it doesn't yield any results, then you know this particular title of a journal is not available anywhere as an online journal. So what the system does, it will give you, this is an open source directory of open source where this journal is hosted. Or if you go to the second hit, you have to click on this full text access because that's what you're interested in. So I'm interested in the latest one. I went to the second hit, the Sage Premier, which is started in 1999 as an online journal to the current year. So I click on the Sage Premier. In my second slide, it just sends me to that publisher, the same as with ebooks. Once you click on the website or the link that is given to you for an ebook, it takes you directly to the website. So this website is hosting this title of a journal, Journal of Librarianship and Information Science. So it's been hosting this since the 1999s as an e-journal. And what is nice here, this journal in my space of work, it has an impact factor. It's how important this journal is in this particular field. And in most instances, when you go to these publishers' websites, when you check for those journals, especially you guys who are registered for PhD, you have to look to work with high impact factor. That's where you'll find a lot of your core, your essence of your subject studies, how important that is. So I'm interested in the current volume. If you click on any of these, it will open, the table of contents of that particular, the issue number, the volume, the issue number, and then you just go for the current one if you are interested. And then it opens the table of contents. You can browse and see in this table of content which one I can download. So all of them, they've got a key which is green. It's opened. It means UNISA has access to all of this. So you just go and download the PDF if you want to, or you open the URL, which is the address of that particular link of the journal, and then you can save it somewhere. So this is, when I open this, it gives me this. I can just go and read it online, or I can save this link, or I can go to the PDF that is given to me on the previous page. Right, and finally, I just want you to note that on that library guide link, where you find your specific subject guide, we have what we call the reference management tools that we actually subscribe to. We've put everything in one space, and it's key for you to go and check with your supervisor what kind of referencing style the department is using. In my space, my information science students, they've got a full PDF document on the library guide which tells them how to cite, whether it's a book, whether it's a chapter, whether it's an article. So, but what happens to those citations, those bibliographic citations? So UNISA subscribed to Mendeley, and we also subscribe to what is called RefWorks. When you click on the reference management tool, I think I'll dwell in this in our second training. You have to do all sorts of things. You must first go and you must get started, meaning you must go and register an account, and please use your MyLife email account to register on these things, because these are subscribed databases. And it also tells you how you can go now to build your research library, which we'll cover in our second. And even with RefWorks, they've got all these nice 2-minute video clips on how you can start building your own bibliography. So here, this is where you're going to now deposit all your references, because now you're not in an old age where we like the old professors used to do. They used to have a sort of a small notebook and started writing all these references by hand. So these two systems, either RefWorks or Mendeley, but we're going to dwell on Mendeley, because what is nice with Mendeley it actually allows you to work offline. You don't have to be connected to an internet. You go and download what we call the Mendeley desktop, and it sits on your desktop so you can work anytime, whether you are connected to the internet or not. So we'll do this in our next session. Thank you. I've shared the library's homepage. Remember, when you go to this is your first start, the MyUnisa page. The library will be on this gray bar. You click on the library and it takes you to this page. I just first want to show you the branch locator. That's the link. It just tells you what are the branches that are connected to the main library. Like I said, Joburg is moving offices. They are not there, but all the other ones are available. There you'll have the address and the street address of that particular branch. And there's an email in some instances if you want to ask a question to the librarian who's manning that particular branch. And there are telephone numbers. Before you even go there, you might want to ascertain certain things. Okay, back to the library's homepage. I've also told you that you can go and look at you can request the literature list from the search librarians, depending on the time frame that you have. It will take a little bit longer for you to get a response because they deal with students across the whole institution. And under your research support, that's where you're going to find the list of your personal librarians. But the key here is to go to your library guides, where you will now engage with all the guides that are available for your subject specific area. So I've used my guide as an example. And why we've created these guides, we just want we want to bring you to a space, just a once-off space of your subject specific information. We have books that are related to your specific subject area. We have general databases that you're going to search that speak to your own subject area, because these are selected according to your specific subject areas. So here, the landing page has all these library links. You can still use, there's your UIR. You can go here, or you can go and search the library catalog as the link that appears on the main library home page, or you can just go to books, which will allow you. So on all my page and in some of the subject area pages, remember when you want to visit any of our branches, there's an app that you have to, with this COVID thing, because they don't want you to all flock at a certain point at the same time. I've placed a PDF document for my own students to look at the app. How do you download this app and what do you do about it? And then where you show it when you go to the branch or you come through to our own library. And these are the library services guidelines that were drawn for this lockdown one. So here you'll find sort of like generic numbers that you can phone, or you can email certain numbers, like for instance, for book requests, or you want to go to library inquiries to inquire about your set request, which is not coming through. So in all my guides for all my subject areas that I'm doing, I've placed these documents for all my students. So what I quickly want to show you, which is key, instead of you maybe requesting books from the library, you can click on that book request book tab, which is going to actually open a page where you'll find all databases that you can look at. You see, we went to do an ebook. We did a search on research methodology in information science, and then we pick up an ebook which is hosted by this particular publisher. So this is not the only publisher that publishes information science books. You have all the other publishers, your Taylor and Francis, you can look at all these book publishers and then you go and search under your topic. And if you do get stuck, your librarian is at hand to help you with this. But I want us to go and search the catalog from here. So here I'm using a keyword search. I'm going to search for research. I'm going to put it in quotes this time because I want research methods to come, next to each other. Research methods. And this time I want it in the context of maybe let's say in psychology. I want research method books in psychology, and then I go and search. So this is searching the catalog. So this is where you have to authenticate yourself. You just put your student number and then your MyUnisa password. So these are my credentials. In your instance, it's your student number and your password, and you just log in. So this actually verifies that you are the legitimate user of these resources, because these resources are paid for you to use. So it takes you directly to the library's search prompt, where we searched research methods in psychology. And when you look, some of these books have just arrived in the library. They are just waiting to be processed and be linked. These are the books that, if they don't have the location, the shelf number, and the status, so these are new books that have been ordered. So if you scroll down, and it's a long list, it's about 94 items on, it's a mixture. It will include your online books. It will pick up books that are available in the library. And in some instances, it will bring up those theses and dissertations that were catalogued pre-2003. So what you do with such a list, it's a cumbersome list. And remember, this is a keyword search. You can also say to the system, I'm just interested in looking at titles of books on research methodology in general, or you key in the subject, psychology or languages or communication science, whatever you are studying. And you look here, we're looking at the entire collection, but because of the way things are happening, most of you, like I said, there are disciplines where you definitely have to look at seminal works that are recommended for your readings so that you can write this chapter, or you can start working on this topic. You have to use those print books. So in this case, if you are interested in, let's say you want to look at this one, this is a book. What you do first, you have to open the book so that you can look at its own, full bibliographic record. You look at its full bibliography. I'm sorry, I'm logged in. That is why it's giving me all these clips. I have to log out first, and then I'll go back and have my full. It's not logging me out. It's supposed to log me out because I can't look at this. There's a glitch of some sort. Okay, I'm going to use it here. Research methods in psychology. Research methods. Okay, I'll use politics this time. It's a keyword search. I've got more books. What I was trying to explain to you is that before you even go and request this book, it gives you an option where you can just open the entire bibliographic record of a book, where in some instances you'll have a summary of a book, and which actually explains to you what this whole book is all about. And if it's if it has a table of contents attached to it, you'll see what's in this book. What I was telling you about by opening this whole title of a book to look at its entirety, whether this book is available or it's in transit. You can go and look at other branches. Remember our branch locator? So you can see that this particular title of a book, when you click on that, show more, it gives you a list of branches where this book is available. So if you are in Cape Town, you know there's a copy there, there's a copy in Durban, and also in some of our mobile bases that are still standing in Cape Town and Polokwane, and these are the postal collection. It's mainly in the main library. So once you've established this, then you go back to your regular display. If this is a seminal work, we're not into ebooks. This is still our print books, and this is your core research methods in politics book, or it can be psychology or any other subject area. So, and you're happy with this, and then you just go and say, I want to request this title. This is where now you request us to do something. You can just tell us, please email this to me and I'll come and collect because I'm in the library. I'm an employee at UNISA, and I'm sitting in the library, so I don't want them to send this book to my postal address because I'm within the library. They can rather send me an email. I'll go to the desk and collect it. So you tell us, you can say, please send this particular title of a book to Polokwane branch. And then because now you've got that library locator, you can say to the Polokwane, you send an email to Polokwane that you've requested a book from the main library. It's going to be sent to this branch. Will they notify you as soon as as soon as the book arrives? So if all the branches are opened, so we have the library branches. So most of the books come from the main library. Some of them are sitting at the branches. So just look at that view all and see where I'm not going to request this because I don't want the title. So this is to show you what you can do. Okay, and one other thing besides you looking at research methods and politics, before I even go there again, so that we can limit the search to ebooks, I just want to quickly show you the My Library option at the gray bar there at the top. So this is where you're going to now go and renew those books. So I have only one book under my name. If I wanted to renew this, I will just tick here, put a tick, but this one was checked out now recently. It's not going to renew it for me. And in some instances, if you have a long list of books that you're still busy with, you can just go and renew them all at once, or renew the ones that you've just selected. If what happens with renewal, the library allows you to renew a print book just only 2 times. The 3rd time, we assume this book is missing. We want it physically back to the library. So if you are within a branch, you can easily take that to the branch. If they return it on the system and no one has requested that book, you can request it again. But the renewal system allows for a second renewal. It won't allow you to renew for the 3rd time. So just take note of that. Okay, so this is my keyword again on research methods in politics, for instance. I have about 800 items and I've viewed the entire collection. I've selected the print ones that I want. And one other thing that I actually want to demonstrate to you, you can see here, you've got nothing more. So let's say I want these seminal works, and I'm sure these are the key books that I need to use in my politics PhD or master's. We have what we call here, you can add stuff to back. What happens when you add stuff to back? You saw when I showed you the article searching, you add into a folder. So here you add stuff into back. For you to eliminate this thing of requesting one by one, I can add this particular title into my back then I have something called view what's in this bag. So I add this one, and you can only add the print books into your bag, not your e-ones, because the e-ones, you directly go to the website of the publisher. So I added this one, and maybe, you know, the second one, and I'm sure these are the seminal works that I actually need to look at. It's you know, my lecturer, my supervisor has actually advised me to go and look for these 2 key titles of books that I have to look at. So I've added them into my bag, and then I just go and view what's this bag. So if you have about 10 of them, you just go and say, I want to request everything that is on this list. This is where you also say to us, send all these 2 books for me at this branch, and you can just, or you click here and then you say, request all selected again, all saved books. Then the system will come back to you to say, look, we've received your request, these are in process. Okay, so you can add stuff in bag so that you can request them all at once. You don't have to request per title. Okay, I'm emptying this bag. You can empty it, and then if you have other titles that you want to request, and then you can just place them. Remember the default here, every time you open the catalog, it says, we assume you've got a title of a book. Let's say you want to find out in the library if there are books in research methodology, for instance, in history. You can use that as a title, and the system will actually tell you whether there's any title that talks to this topic. So you see there are research method books in health, psychology, and then you can start browsing. You know, you go next page, you want to browse, and there's more in information. It gives you all the titles. These are the exact titles that we have maybe in history or in any other subject area. Okay, back to my keyword search. I'm looking at psychology, maybe research methods in psychology. You can also put these in quotation so that, you know, the 2 words don't appear everywhere. But I'm not going to use in. I'm going to use this Boolean operator and then I'm going to search. Remember, we have more than 500, but it's a mixture of everything, and even the new books that we are trying to link to are here. So I'm going to change the search and say I'm only interested in ebooks. I don't have time to request all these titles. You know, my time is of essence here. And then you just search again. And now I'm left with 119, you know, books that speak to research methods or methodologies in psychology. So I have all these ebooks. And remember, I said to you, it's key that you have your ducks in the row. You don't have to just jump to the website. You first have to open the title of a book. It's still logging me in here. Sorry about that. You open the title of a book. You sort of like you give yourself some time and you read what is in this book. You know, the summary of the book, and then here's your contents. These will tell you what's in this book, the table of contents, and you can see the subject. This whole book is on psychology research. So should this be a book that you think you can use for whatever you are doing, you just go ahead and click on this full text. I'm glad this is happening. So guys, if you find that you click on something in any of our links, whether it's a database or it's a link to anything, and it gives you this 404 not found error message, please go back, close it, and go back to your link. It will work for the second time, because students panic. They say the library system is down. Our ICT is aware of this problem. they've been working on it for quite a while now, so I don't know what the problem could be. So what we advise our students or even our academics to do, you close the page, you go back and click again, and then the second time it opens. So this is where you end up from that link on the library catalog. You click on it, this book is hosted by EBSCO. So you can either go and get the permanent link for this particular title of a book, or you can just scroll down here and look at the table of contents that will actually speak to what your research is all about. So you can download these chapters. Any of these chapters is downloadable, or you can just download the whole thing. But listen here, if you download this book, it might disappear tomorrow. So to be on a safe side, you can either go and sign in with EBSCO, you create your own account, and you save all these books on the system for, you just create your own library. It's a free account creation. You've already authenticated yourself. It will keep all your ebooks in one space. Like I said, there's no way you can use the entire book unless maybe you're doing a PhD, you want to look at all the chapters. So you can also download the full text. You open the PDF, but it will allow you to go, and it might disappear within a day or two. Depends, it's different publishers, and they all have different rules. So what is best is for you to maybe create a folder on your desktop if you have books that you want, and then you just click here on a permanent link, and then you just copy this onto your folder, and then you just, this is on reporting quantitative research in psychology, if you are in psychology, and then you just give that thing a name. Every time you want to look at this book, you click on this link in your folder somewhere. So you copy this and put it somewhere, then you have this entire link of a book. So whenever you want, unless you want to go and download per chapter, let's say you want to look at the reporting, so you download chapter 1. It allows you to download the entire chapter. They don't have a problem with that. There's your full download. You can download this whole chapter. And again, here I must pause. If you take a chapter from a book, reference it properly. Make sure that you cite it properly. This is not a book. It's a chapter that comes from a particular title of a book. It comes from this book, actually. And in some publishers, they will actually give you a citation. They'll show you how you're going to cite. They give you sort of a hint how you can cite this particular chapter as coming from this particular book title. So you can download it here. There was a question about ebooks. So ebooks, you get a link you do a search from the catalog, you get such links, you go directly to the publisher. That's where most of the ebooks are sitting. Or you go back to your subject library guide, and then you have all these databases. Like we search on EBSCO, you'll get that, you can go to any of these, and these are listed according to the field of. Remember, I said I'll show you how you can request and renew on the catalog and under your My Library and your branch locator, and you can limit your search from print or the entire collection. You can just limit according to ebooks. And I'm sure most of the students, even our undergraduate students now, are those who don't have recommended material. They just go for ebooks because then it allows them to continue their assignment. But should you want to request books, the library is open. There are processing requests. You are welcome to request whatever you want to request. And in the meantime, you can just use an option of limiting according to ebooks, where you'll find, to get going. Secondly, I just wanted to show you how to go to your thesis and dissertations in your specific colleges. Remember our UNISA institutional repository from the main library page and from your guide, it's there. which is, it's according to colleges. You each have to go to your own college. So my college, it's graduate studies. We don't have students. So what we have, we serve as an umbrella, and we service all the other colleges. So I'm going to ask for College of Human Sciences, because some of my subject areas belong there. And when you click on your college, you have to know which school do you belong to. So these are different schools in the College of Human Sciences. So if you are in humanities, like your history people, and some of the social sciences, your psychology, your sociology, your social work, you go under the social sciences school. So in this instance, I'm going to go to School of Arts, because some of my subject areas are lying here. Here you can see it's a School of Art, and it's all the departments in that particular school. What you can do, you go to a specific department. I'm going to go to information science as a subject that I'm dealing with. And when you get here, you've got the departmental output, and then you've got your thesis and dissertations listed here. So, and in most instances, when you open any of this, it will say these are the recent submissions. So the submissions from last year will appear at the top. So you can see this particular one was submitted somewhere in July last year. And you can click on the title to just engage yourself with the thesis. Why you should all maybe come here, especially you guys who are still in your master's level. It's for you to look at the pattern or the style of any of your supervisors. So you can first look at the title of the thesis. This is the person that has written. This is the author of the thesis, and this is the abstract. But if you want to look at the entire thesis, you have to go to view to open this whole thing. Here, you don't have to worry about downloads, and I'm sure you're not going to go onto any of these things and start downloading other people's works. Like I said, the first page will tell you who the supervisor was, and if there's a co-supervisor, they'll be listed here. And then you just move on to the next page. Page 2, page 3, no. This is page 2, it's an abstract, page 3. And what most of you will be interested in, actually, it's what we call the table of contents. Your table of contents will be much more. You would want to see how the introduction is coined, you know, how the problem of statement is formulated, the conceptual framework of this particular work, the research methodology section, the literature review, you know. Then you can go to a specific page where this literature review is, and you start reading how this person approaches the literature review. And you can just copy, maybe only download maybe the parts that you need from this, so that you can just orientate yourself with the structure of the whole thing. Okay, so that was that. Oh, I closed my page, sorry about that. So that was your UIR. Any questions on UNISA institutional repository? What I actually want to show you, it's also how you can browse according to your supervisors. You can either browse by the authors. If you knew that somebody submitted something in this department, let's say it's English studies or whoever, information science, I want to stick to one department, you can go and see, you know, Professor Onyancha's students, or to see whether, you know, how the style are used. You can browse according to dates. You can say, I want the latest ones. You browse between 2010 to 20, and you can also use this, and you can just say you want according to type. You want your M's first, or you want your PhDs, because I'm sure PhD student would not want to go through the M list. So you browse according to your types. Once you've opened thesis and dissertation, you can say I want to browse according to type. Then it gives you an option, either M or D's. And you can also browse according to your supervisor, if you know who your supervisor is, and then you can just say, I want to look at Professor maybe Onyancha in this case, and then you go. Then you'll see, this are some of the students that went under his wing, and then you can see the style of their writing, how their table of contents is laid out, the literature review, or you can just speak to Professor Onyancha and then he'll refer you to one of these things. So this is where you come when you want to see what your peers have been doing. If you are in masters, it's actually a good idea that you visit this and see what other people are doing. And under the thesis and dissertations as well, I told you about the ProQuest dissertations, and you see it's repeating that. You just close and go back again. So these are international ones. Remember I said these ones you can do any topic. The default here is advanced. You just do your own searching. You can just say you're looking at let's say COVID-19. I doubt if we're going to find any theses that have been produced. It's too early, but let's try. I don't want to put it under quotes because it's a fairly new concept, and then we search. Why I wanted to use this database is because it harvests some of the South African theses. So here you've got your limiters. You can say I'm only interested the ones that I have access to in full text, or from this year to whatever year. You can maybe look from 2020 to current, and then you update what you're doing. And what happens here also, it has a lot of open access, like this open access things which are freely available. Some of them you can only preview the PDF, or you can just go to the full PDF, and I don't think it's actually speaks to this topic because it's too broad, and my COVID is not properly written, so we can't be having 554 unless these are, see, this is a keyword search, and you can say I'm only interested in doctoral dissertations only. Then you tick this, and then you search again, and then it gives you only those relevant to your kind of area of study. Okay, so these are your theses. You either go to the catalog, and you go far back as 20. If you go to the library catalog under the here, under your entire collection, you are able to say to the system, I'm only interested in ebooks, or I'm only interested in the entire collection, or I want to also look at our old thesis will come up under, not archival collection, I think it's UNISA thesis and dissertations, but then you'll be searching the ones that we didn't digitize from 2003, I mean, sorry. So this is where you can also browse the older ones from the catalog. Right. I think I'm going to go to the articles which are actually key to for your write-up. If you click on the article tab on any of your library guide, it will give you all of this. Remember, I just captured on that previous slide, I captured a few, but some of the subject area have got a longer list like this one. So we've kept the core ones, we've made a selection, and we're thinking when you go in any of this, you'll be able to answer your question. This will be able to answer your question. So I'm going to go for Academic Search Ultimate. it opens on an advanced search prompt. But before I do anything here, I'm going to tell the system I want to choose more, because now I've got an understanding that EBSCO is hosting a lot of subject areas. So you can see how long the list is. People in gender studies will go for that. People in health studies will go for health, nursing, or academic. The history people. So I'm in information science. This is an Africa-wide one. This is it's one of the core databases for African content. So if you guys are researching on something that has to look at some of the African things, like the history people and some in politics as well, you must also take Africa-wide. I told you that you can, just put your cursor there on this yellow bar. It will give you a sort of a synopsis of this whole, what the coverage of this whole database is all about, what is included in this database, so that you can make an informed decision. So I've taken that one, and because I'm a librarian, I'm interested in all the library science information things, I might as well you take communication source, because communication science at some stage used to be sort of, it goes, it's part of information and library science. And there's my social index. So now I've selected about 6 databases, and I'm going to search them all at once. So then I say, okay. So if you show them all here, then I'm searching across all of these 6 databases. So before I even put my search terms, I go here and say, I'm only interested in peer-reviewed journals. Don't give me magazines or newsletters or whatever. I'm only interested in academic scholarly peer review material. If you have a date that you are looking at these things, you just go here and say, whatever I'm looking at, I want it from this date and then to this one. So you set your parameters already before you even put your keyword set. So here, what I'm going to do, remember now we're searching for articles. I'm going to say to the system, just tell me what articles do you have on research methods. And as soon as you start typing, the system gives you hints. It can say to me, are you looking at research methods in education, or for the social sciences, or in psychology, depending on what I'm doing. So if I'm interested in psychology, I would grab this one because I don't have to retype it in. But in this instance, I'm just looking at the research methods, and I'm going to say maybe in librarianship as my own profession. In my own profession. And then the system also prompts me and says to me, are you interested? Do you want to use these terms in your search? Because librarianship can be also a librarian, and it can also be an information professional. So I say, okay, I'm taking this one. So these are this is my phrase. I want research methods either in librarianship or as a librarian or in information professional, people who work in an information professional space. And these are my keywords. And then I go and search. Remember, I'm searching across 6 databases, and I've given the system these concepts. So no wonder it's either my internet is slow, it takes a while. So now it yields these following results. Remember, these are keyword search. My concepts will either appear in the subject field, or it will appear either in the title of a journal, because it's a keyword search. So all these words will appear everywhere. But now I'm actually convinced that research methodology is the concept that some of these articles are talking to. You see, there's my research methodology. So I can go and change the search and say, give me research methodology. And some call it techniques or whatever. Then I'm playing around. So from a 1,000 something articles, I'm left with 937. Still, I'm not happy. This is a long list. And remember, these are ranked according to relevancy. So I have 20 per page, but because I don't have time to scroll, 20 per page, I can go to page options and tell the system, just give me the first 50, because the top articles are the most relevant ones because it's ranked according to relevancy, and then I apply. So now I'm looking at the first 50, and it will make my browsing, I can browse through maybe about 120 or 150 of these, maybe 3 or 4 pages. But because these are still keywords, I'm not satisfied with this. I can leave this as keywords because I'm looking at methodology stuff in these disciplines, librarianship or information professional or as a librarian. I can change this and say to the system, just give me articles that have research methodology in the title, and then I search again. This is actually what you're not supposed to do, because then now it's too, it's too refined. You get 1 or 2 articles, but there's this one that talks to me, and this one, and remember, this is an international database. Another limiter that you can do, guys, is to look at your the language issue. So when you're searching, you can just tell the system you're only interested in, because this is, I think this is Russian, if I'm not mistaken. So you don't want to pick up all these other foreign language articles. So I'm back to my keyword, and I'm going to search as a keyword for now. And I might find, there's lots of research because the subject here, it's on research methodology. I'm happy with what I see, and it's full text. And remember, I told you that if you want to look at this is the summary of the abstract. If I want to see the entire abstract, I have to click here. Then I can just go and say, okay, let me read about this article. What is this article all about? So this is my full article, and it's full text. So if I'm happy with this, I have a folder up there, which is empty because I haven't done anything. I can tell the system, okay, I want this in my folder. And once I've done that, it tells me my folder has items. And then I can go to folder view, where it opens all the folder items, which I can email to myself or send it to my reference management tool if I'm registered with Mendeley, or even put them on my Stiffy drive, or send them on a folder that I've created on my desktop. So you just scroll down, and then remember, I told you that sometimes a database will not actually give you all PDFs. In some instances, it will refer you to where you can find a PDF document, because EBSCO doesn't host this particular title of a journal this year, 2020 volume 14 number 2 as a full text. It refers you to another database. So if you see something like this, don't panic. Just add it to your folder, and then later on, when you click on the title, once it's on your desktop or wherever you want to send it to, if you click on the link to this particular title, let's just demonstrate it here. Again, you close, you go and read and open it again. It will give you some databases that are going to host this particular title of a journal as a full text. So this EBSCO doesn't give it to you as a full text, but if you go to this particular journal title, which is hosted by Taylor and Francis as a publisher, you'll find this article. Can you see that? So when you click there, it will take you to Taylor and Francis, and you go according to your volume and issue number. So when you land on Taylor and Francis, you tell the system this particular journal title, I want it I want the April 2020, volume 14, issue 2. So these are the page numbers. It will send you directly to the table of content of this particular edition, and then you just scroll down and get the title of the article that you're looking at. So you can just add as many as you want or you wish. And what I want to also indicate here is that when you are on this page, you saw when I tried to limit according to research methodology in my title, it didn't want to. You can just say, I want to limit, I'm only interested in the English versions. You know, I can only read English. Then it updates the whole entire list into this. So I can also say, maybe methods is the best way that I would want to look at this and search, and let's see what happens. You see, I still have that, but I can say to the system, okay, give me research methods in the title. And I think with methodology, it's too much of a limiting. So I've got 31. So I can just scroll down and see which of these can answer my methodology question as an information librarian. You know, if there's anything I can use from this. So you just scroll down, and because I've asked for 50 on a title, it just gives me the 31 that I can use. Or you can just use that methodology and go through a whole list where you know research methodology is part of the subject field in this. Or you can just change this, because now we know research methodology in the previous one was a subject term. I can go and say, give me these terms as methodology, research methodology as a subject term, and then you just tell the system, because whatever you input here, the system will give you whatever is here. So it tells me with this kind of a limiting, I'm able to find research methodology in these, whether it's psychology, communication science, education, whatever. These are the results. And I've asked for the first 50. You just go and engage with the article. You first read the entire, you use that hourglass, you look at the entire abstract, and then you decide, do I want to put this in my folder or not? If you want, you just add it into your folder, you scroll down, and then at the bottom of this list, you can move to the next page. Because I've asked for 50, then it makes browsing much more easier. Then I can go to the second page. It depends of, I know PhD students must read more than the masters, and still, because I've changed this, I still get Spanish. I can change this into, I'm only interested in English, and then the system will do likewise. And as soon as I'm done with this, and I'm happy with what I can see in front of me, and I'm happy with my selection, remember, it will give you links to where you can go and find the full text. I can either open this folder here, or I can just go to my folder view, and then now it just gives me all my selection. If it's 30 articles, remember with articles, you can download as many as you wish. It's not like your ebooks, where you have to select from chapters and maybe register with the system and put your ebooks on the database itself and go and use them there. So with articles, you can download 50 at the go. No issues. The copyright has been cleared here. You can use as many as you want. So you can either export these if you registered with your Mendeley account. You can just go and direct export, and there are people who are using EndNote or directly to RefWorks, and then you just or you can just send the whole list to your email, depending where you want to send it, or you can have a flash drive and then just save it as a file in your, either on your desktop or somewhere, and then you send this to your email. Like I said, if you send this to your email, just don't remove this where it comes from. This is from EBSCO, and in most instances, you can either remove the PDF or the HTML. The HTML, it's another version of an article. It's not a full article. It's sort of like a photocopied. It doesn't have page numbers. So guys, instead of HTML, go for PDF, because PDF, it will give you page numbers of that particular article. So if you have to cite and you're doing your in-text citation, you are able to refer to a certain page if you go for PDFs. With HTML, HTML will give you a blank page without pages. That's a disadvantage, unless it has the article has not been produced in another format. It only comes in a PDF, in an HTML format, but go for PDF in most cases. So you just put your email address and then you give it a name. If I'm doing this for instance, for Professor Ngulube or for Mr. Majila, I'll just put his name so that I remember this. I have to forward to this particular person, and then I just send it. And the email will confirm that this particular search has been sent, and then I continue, and then I just clear what I was doing. And then I tell the system, please delete everything because I want to continue, and now do your topic search. If we were not looking for research methodology books or articles here, you can now go and do your topic. You know, you registered for different, some of you are working in history, politics, or African Union, or you want to know about the recent, the COVID-19 situation. But remember, when you start doing the topic search here, you have to be, you have to have used the relevant databases. So I'm a librarian. I went for my own subject databases that I know will answer my question. If you are in psychology, you have to go for all of this. The social science people, you go for social sciences, politics, everything is here. All the language people, health issues, you go for your Medline, you go for your health source, you go for, there's one for health which is called Sina. You choose according to your topic here, and then you do your search, and then you put them on your bag or your folder, you add them and you send them to wherever you want to send them to. And finally, I just want to go back to the guide. We have a fantastic, and I think I'm going to cover this and I'll demonstrate it to you when we do our session. I don't know, I think it's somewhere in May, if I'm not mistaken. In all your guides, this is the tab for research support. In all your guides, guys, we've placed things like this. So these are alerts, and these, if we have any ebooks on research ethics, if we have any new books on research design, this is where you're going to find them. These are set alerts. If you look at it goes to the catalog and it brings a book, you know, at the top. Remember, it ranks according to relevancy. At the top page on research design, you'll find recent books on such topics that you find here. So we've created, and most of these are, I think some of them are print books, like your seminal books that you have to consult on research design. And some of them are, and most of them are ebooks. So you can go and, or you can limit this 14,000 page and say, I don't want to borrow anything from you guys. I just want ebooks, and then you search again. So you went to your guide, you went to the research support tab, and then these are all the ebooks, you know, on these topics. I know now recently you went to, I think it was sort of your research proposal writing. If you go here, you'll find items on research proposal, your how to write books on, and you can change the list from print and say, I'm interested only on how do I write my proposal using ebooks, because I can easily get access to those, and you limit according to the ebooks on your research proposal writing. Okay, on the research tab of your guide. So don't forget your research tab. It will give you all these. These are generic. These are sort of generic books on how you write your proposal, on academic writing as well, on research design. just use your tab and get to know some of the ebooks that are covered there. And in our next session, when we do this, I'm going to show you how you're going to use the referencing. Remember, in my last slide this morning, I showed you, the reference management tool. You either use it from here, your Mendeley, or you go and use it from the list of LibGuides. In our next session, I'm going to show you how you're going to use some of these using a tool of your choice. And I think we're going to demonstrate Mendeley. But I just want to bring you to your attention that in all the guides, there's a referencing tab, and all departments have their way of referencing. If you're going to use Harvard, you must check with your supervisor, because Harvard has got its own, and I know in education, I think they've got their own Harvard, and the SBL people have their own School of Business Leadership. They use their Harvard and they've done something with it. And in health studies, I know they're also using their own style. And in most of these guides, they've kept some PDF documents on how to go about this. And in this instance, the information science students, they've got this PDF. It's across, I mean, from undergraduate to PhD level. They have to follow the style. The department have got their way of doing things. So they've provided a guideline for all their students, which I've plugged it here for them. So the next time when we meet, we're going to look at the reference management tool, where now you're going to put all these references that you've been searching for into a little sort of your own little Bible, which is online. So this is the Mendeley. For you to get started, you have to do the following. So guys, I'm going to urge you, if you're not registered with Mendeley, you go and register an account. It's simple. Use your MyLife email account. You're going to download Mendeley on your desktop, which must sit on your desktop. This is what I said. It's actually nice with Mendeley because you can work offline. You don't have to be connected to the internet. So you will be able to do your write-up using Mendeley, which is sitting on your desktop. And then you have to install what we call a Mendeley web importer. It's something like this. If I'm working on the Google Scholar platform, and with Google Scholar, you get items, you can't mark items. If I want to import what I found on Google Scholar, I came up with something which I need from Google Scholar. I have to do the settings so that I can send this here to my Mendeley library. So you have to have this to be able to import from a web platform. And this is actually the nice one, the last one. You have to install this plugin on Mendeley so that when you are on your Word document, you are able to pull references from your Mendeley account into this. Actually, it's nice because then it helps you with your in-text citation. So I can pick up Smith 2010 from my Mendeley desktop references, and I plug it on my Word document. Maybe I'm writing my second chapter, I plug it in here. And when I'm done doing writing up my chapter, I can tell the system, okay, I just put the cursor at the end of the document that I have to submit to my lecturer and say to the system, now create bibliography. So it's going to create the whole reference for you. That's Smith 2010. It will give you, if it's a book, it will give you a reference for a book with all the commas, the full stop. If it's an article, it will put it in a very nice format. But what is key here, you have to stick to your citation method. You have to stick to a citation style of the one that you agreed with your supervisor. If you're using Harvard Augmented, you stick to Harvard Augmented. If you're using APA for psychology people, you stick to APA. And when you write, you do your write-up, having registered your account with Mendeley and you have your references on your desktop, you just pull them up in your in-text citation, you create bibliography at the end of your chapter, it will go in that particular style. If it's Harvard, it will do it in your Harvard. You don't have to worry about the commas, the full text. the italics, it does it for you automatically. So in our next training, which I think is somewhere in May, we'll go through this. But can I urge you to go and register for accounts so that when I do these things, at least you have a clue because these are the 4 things that this is your homework. You go and do this. So next time we do a practical thing on these things. I think this is where I'm going to end. Thank you for listening.